All right, good afternoon. Hopefully, you are hearing me here from the Atlanta News First desk. And we are here with your afternoon update to bring you some more details on how everything is going. So, I'm going to get the go ahead from my digital producer, TJ, to see if everyone can hear me. All right, everyone can hear me. So, thanks so much for joining us, guys. We're back here and we have a lot to talk about today. We just finished our editorial meeting. We have a few stories we're already working on. The main story that I want to get going, we're going to dive right into this. We are going to talk about the stuff happening in Hall County right now. That's really one of our top stories that we have been working on. And we just learned that into our newsroom not too long ago. And what we know so far is that there is a pilot that died in a helicopter crash, and he was the only one on board. Now, right now, we do have a crew on the way to that scene. We're told that it took place in the area of, I'm going to get to my notes really quick so I can be exact. We're told it took place in the 4700 block of Clarksbridge Road and north of Glade Farm Road. Now, we still don't know what the cause of the crash is at this time, but the Hall County Sheriff's Office did tell us that the FAA is going to take over the investigation along with the National Transportation Safety Board. So as soon as we learn anything new, we will have that in our 6 o'clock newscast. We're going to hopefully have our crew in that show if they can make it there on time. And as you know, details like as it relates to what happened are going to come out a little bit later, but we will be working that scene today and we're working on it right now. Whole county has seen a lot of different things happen just in the last few hours. I'm talking hours is what we're following right now. The story that we talked about before that is also coming out of Hall County is the 61-year-old man who went missing earlier this afternoon. Initially, the Department of Natural Resources was conducting a search, and shortly after, the Hall County Sheriff's Office released a statement saying that they recovered the body of a 61-year-old man in Lake Lanier. Now, they did confirm that that was the same person that they were looking for, and now they are working on notifying the next of kin. So that's our other story that we had out of Hall County. Now I want to shift gears just a little bit to talk about something that we are going to be paying homage to, and I was there. I get chills just thinking about it. The tornado that swept through Coweta County 2 years ago today. I was on the ground when that took place here. That was one of my first times ever covering tornado damage and a tornado ever, and that was something that I will never forget. I have never seen damage to that extent, but only one person died in this chaotic situation that touched down in this small community of Noonan, and that community has rallied together ever since. And I kind of want to bring you back up to speed on how we got here today and how they remembered this day last year and where the community is at now, and also to show you some images of what took place. So we're also going to just bring that to you right now. I'm just going to change a few things so we can update that. So I'm going to show you some images right now just so that you can really get an idea. You can see just nothing on the ground here. Schools, no roofs. This is a small community. And when you go back there, some of the homes still look like this. You know, many people have already rebuilt, but overall, I mean, this is still very much a recovery effort, but everyone came together. Neighbors were helping neighbors, and it's something that we will always remember with this community and what it was like down there. I remember seeing a tree just completely sever someone's car in half, and it was an elderly woman who I was talking to about that, and she was just, she said, there's nothing I can do. I'm just glad it didn't come through my house. It was inches away from me. And tonight, actually, our Atlanta News First reporter, Bridget Spencer, is going to be talking to a woman who lost her home. And so we're going to bring that to you. You can see some of the damage here on the ground. 1,600 buildings were damaged in this tornado. And now I'm going to bring you how they remembered this day a year ago.
On the Courthouse Square in downtown Noonan, people from throughout Coweta County gathered for a service to mark 1 year since an EF4 tornado left this historic community unrecognizable. This was the scene the morning after, just blocks from the town square. Katie Wentworth's husband was out of town that night. She and her children hunkered down in the middle of their home as trees crashed all around them.
We were just praying and praying for safety and to protect us, and God did. Our hallway where we were is untouched.
Since then, they had to demolish that home.
My kids, they still are like, is it going to storm tonight? Every night. So, I know a lot of families who say the same thing.
I'll never be able to remove the smell of those twisted pine trees and other trees from my nose.
Assistant City Manager Hasko Craver tells me he's been amazed at how the community came together this past year. 1,600 structures in the city and more in the county were damaged or destroyed. Noonan High School took a beating, but 1 year later, most of its buildings have reopened. With the exception of a few properties in probate or whose owners have abandoned them, most homes have been rebuilt. Many look better than they did before, though the few ravaged trees still standing are a constant reminder.
As we've learned from others who have been through similar type storms, this is not an overnight process. It could be 3, 4, 5 years before you're back, if you're ever back to, quote, normal.
I think going through the tornado makes you look at your life as a whole, and I've learned so much about mental health and healing from trauma.
Katie Wentworth tells me after a crazy year of renting and dealing with insurance, her family now owns a new home a few miles outside Noonan.
It was a really roundabout way to get a huge blessing, but for us it's been fine. We've been very fortunate.
On this 1 year anniversary since the tornado, a nonprofit called Plant Noonan is handing out seedlings. It's part of an ongoing effort to try to restore the city's once beautiful tree canopy. In Noonan, Rebecca Schramm, CBS 46 News.
And you were Rebecca there was talking about the nonprofit that was planting trees, and that has become somewhat of a tradition for this community because, as she mentioned, this is the tree canopy city. This is really a city that was glorified for the amount of trees that they have that make up this community. It's a very rich community in nature, and they wanted to make sure that they still had that because that's a draw to people who are looking to live there, and this was what made up their city. It brings it character, and they have definitely planted a lot of trees since then, and I was really happy to see that so many people were still remaining so positive in this, and they had a food giveaway as well today, so Bridget Spencer's going to bring that all to you later on tonight. So those are the 3 top stories that we are working on and that we're just out of our editorial meeting that we really felt that you guys should know that we are on the ground working to get details on and to bring you some extra information on as it relates to Noonan and how they are remembering this day 2 years later. And lastly, I want to talk about this. This is my favorite part. I'm not the weather person, as you guys know. I'm not the First Alert meteorologist, but I just had to touch base on how beautiful it is outside. Oh gosh, I feel like I am not in Georgia, but now, it doesn't feel like springtime. It hasn't felt like springtime, I should say, but it is certainly feeling great out there. April is by far my favorite month in Georgia because right now is when it's so nice out. You can get outside, go to the park, do something to enjoy the weather, and then you will hear from our First Alert weather team because we do have a First Alert tonight for some rain that is coming. So, it's clear skies now, but that's going to change later on this evening and into tomorrow. So we are going to break that down for you with First Alert meteorologist Cutter Martin. And we are also really excited because we are going to be having Carly Barnett, our new weekend anchor, with us tonight, and so make sure you tune in at 6. We will likely have updates on these stories, and you will get to meet Carly for the first time on TV on the other side of the screen. We're really excited to have her. So thank you so much for joining us here on the ANF Plus desk, and we are going to wrap it up with that. Have a great weekend, guys.